Former President Trump paying a visit to Chicago for an appearance in front of business leaders at the Economic Club of Chicago.
WGN political reporter Taman Bradley was there for the speech. Joins us now with more.
Ray and Micah, a warm welcome today for Mr. Trump from Chicago's business elite. He was cheered on as he took questions about tariffs, tax cuts, and his relationships with world leaders.
Thank you very much.
3 weeks before Election Day, former President Trump sat for a Bloomberg News interview at the Economic Club of Chicago. The former president addressed economists' concerns that his economic plan will fuel inflation and add debt.
We're going to have thousands of companies coming into this country. We're going to grow it like it's never grown before.
Bloomberg's top editor asked the former president about his plan for a universal tariff on imports and his threats to use tariffs on American companies that outsource manufacturing.
To me, the most beautiful word in the dictionary is tariff, and it's my favorite word.
40 million jobs rely on trade. It counts for 27% of GDP.
Okay?
If you cut that off, that's also going to have an effect on many, many business people here.
Yeah.
Tariffs also have another side. Isn't that something that you have to acknowledge?
No.
You could be plunging America into the biggest trade war since Smoot-Hawley.
But there are no tariffs.
You're going to stop. There are tariffs already
No,
at the
there
moment.
are no tariffs. All you have to do is build your plant in the United States, and you don't have any tariffs.
In the hour-long interview, Trump veered away from economics, criticizing opponents, the press, and the city of Detroit.
I've been talking about for the last year about Detroit and how horribly it has been. You know, it's just horrible. That's the one we really have to straighten. We have to straighten out our press because we have a corrupt press. What does the Wall Street Journal know? I'm meeting with them tomorrow. What does the Wall Street Journal know? They've been wrong about everything. So have you, by the way.
The former president dodged questions about whether or not he's talked to Russian President Vladimir Putin several times since he left office, as reported in Bob Woodward's new book.
Well, I don't comment on that, but I will tell you that if I did, it's a smart thing.
Trump defended the January 6th aftermath with an inaccurate account of what happened.
A lot of strange things happened there. A lot of strange things with people being waved into the Capitol by police.
Protesters gathered outside the downtown hotel where the former president appeared. And the city and state's top leaders, who were Democrats, slammed the Trump visit. Governor Pritzker released a statement saying, in part, "Every time he opens his mouth, Donald Trump reminds us that he is a racist, misogynist, 34-time convicted felon who doesn't care about anyone but himself." And from Mayor Johnson, he's back with his economic plan, which is nothing more than a massive tax break for billionaires and big corporations, while working people get stuck with higher prices for everyday goods because of his foolish tariff proposals.
Former President Trump heads for battleground Georgia tonight, where he'll take questions from Fox News hosts. On the other side, Vice President Kamala Harris is in Michigan trying to reach black voters. She did an event with Charlemagne the God of the Breakfast Club, Ray and Mike.